That I always said Big Elvis, Big Elvis the chef. He is here.
We have
Ulrich.
and
Daniel B.
and we're gonna take a moment, and we're just coming off the John Morant debacle, quagmire, and we're gonna talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I've gone through this before. And I recently just had a situation. Recent, very, very recent. Yesterday, to be exact.
Do you want to play it first and then have them see the situation?
Yeah,
or say
yeah,
the
yeah.
situation
Well, let's talk
first?
about your situation. I want to hear this.
So,
Could be the buildup for the video.
Gotcha.
every Monday, we have alternate side of the street parking. So I have to move my dispensary every Monday between 11 and 1 in 1 p.m. Between 11 and 1 p.m. And between 11 and 1 p.m., we sit in the car with the dispensary attached, right? And what we do is, if the street sweeper comes by, we'll move, the street sweeper sweeps, and then we'll just go around the corner and park it right back. No problems. Everyone knows we've been there for a couple of months now in the same kind of spot. I had, they were giving us tickets for not having the dispensary hitched up. So what I did was I put we have another car that we don't really drive much. So I put that car there. And that box behind Daniel B is a trailer hitch. So we're going to put a new trailer hitch underneath the regular car. So now it's going to be, the ball will be connected to the trailer, to the dispensary. So now there's no more tickets they can give us for not having the trailer hitch, which is like a $45 or $65 ticket. And we've gotten about 6 of them in the last like 3 months or 6 months. So that kind of sucks. So I got that $250 trailer hitch in the back, gonna attach it to the car, and we're not gonna have these problems. So this particular Monday, which was yesterday, my wife gives me a call and she says, one of the neighbors on the block just decided to have a conversation with me because she's sitting in that car. I'm in this car. This is the car I would use to move the trailer.
Yeah.
So she would just drive off. I would pull up, back up, hitch the trailer. If the street sweeper comes by, we drive off, go around the corner, regular shit, no problem. I even have a blower back here where I have a portable blower where I'll just blow all the dirt out. Because if I don't want to move it, I'll just blow the dirt out. If the street sweeper comes by, he'll just catch it from like off the street instead of all the cars having to move.
Yeah.
Very few cars move in Brooklyn. In this part of Brooklyn, street sweepers are used to it. They don't mind. There's no grudge. But because we're a dispensary, they try to police us.
Yeah.
Right? So this guy comes.
Gotcha.
So she said, this guy just talked to me. He's one of the neighbors down the block. The guy down the block who has access to that parking garage. It says, oh, okay, cool. I just so happened to come around and he's standing talking to her. So I came back to give her his number to let her know that he was just acting in good faith and that he wasn't the problem. And he didn't want her to think any ill will towards him. So he wanted to give her a Post-it note with his name and his telephone number on it.
Okay.
So when I pulled up, he comes over to me. He says, hey, how you doing? You know me, right? I'm the guy with the great car down the block. You know me. And I was like, sir, I don't think I know you. Maybe my wife knows you, but I don't know you. Are you a client of mine? And he was like, no, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. And I come to you, with a smile. I come to you with a smile on my face, and I'm saying, that we just was wondering how long you're gonna be over here, because I don't, I didn't call nobody. I know that people they like to call people and like to get people in trouble, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I don't want to call anybody.
And this is the guy saying that.
He's saying that to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said to him, I said, sir, are you telling me that you are gonna, you came to tell me that you're not gonna call somebody, but you could? And he was like, yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying, is that I could call. I said, sir, you can't call anybody because I'm not doing anything wrong. And he was just like, well, I mean, that's like up to like interpretation. And I said, no, sir. You're gonna come to me. He said, why are you so hostile? I'm coming to you with a smile on my face.
That's what he said?
That's exactly what he said.
He said, I'm coming to you with a smile.
I'm coming to you with a smile on my face. And I said, what you're coming to me is telling me that you could slap me down, but you're not going to. And here's why.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're saying.
And he says, no, why would you take it like that?
You should be grateful that I'm not fucking you up right now.
Yeah. I said, sir, you have to understand what you're doing right now. You're trying to bully me or something like that. What do you want me to do? You want me to move? And he was like, I just want to know. I said, where do you live? He said, I live 3 doors down on top of the gallery. I said, so you're a renter? And he's like, well, I don't know why that's important. I said, because my dispensary is parked right in front of this lady's house. And the owner of the building says she loves that we're here. And it brightens up her day to see us here. So you telling me that an owner of a building, multi-million-dollar building, is okay with me being here and you're a renter? Matter of fact, sir, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Why are you not at work? Why are you talking to me for? He said, look, I'm in my work clothes. I just came to talk to you. And I'm just coming with a smile and I'm being nice. And I'm letting you know that I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not like that. And I was just like, you gentrifiers are very interesting to me. He said, I don't even know what that word means. And by the way, this is a total impromptu version of what just happened. There's a lot happened in this 2-3 minute period. But I told him, I said, you gentrifiers are always very interesting to me.
So you're saying it was more vulgar than you're leading on, or more aggressive than you're leading on? The confrontation?
It was more aggressive. It was more aggressive because I wanted him to, first of all, I said, sir, you gotta let me speak. And he refused to let me speak. And I was just like, has anyone ever told you that you don't let people speak? Because if I'm the first person to tell you that, then I'll shut up. And then he shut up. He was quiet. I'm the first person to tell you don't let people speak. And I'll shut up right now. But what I want you to know is that you're a gentrifier in this community of Red Hook, thinking that you're going to go over to somebody and tell them how you feel. And then to let them know that you were going to slap them down, but you ain't going to because you're coming with a smile. I says, where I'm from, that's gangster talk.
Yeah, that's pretty gangster.
Okay? What are you doing? Because let me just tell you something. In this scenario here, I'm not the person to do that to. And he's like, no. And he was such a freaking Ken. And he's just, he was so pompous. And he was such an arrogant, pompous asshole that just feels like, I don't like the dispensary on my block and I'm going to go talk to them. And let them know that you guys should just move around more. You guys should be like moving around more. Because he told my wife, he said, yo, I saw you guys when you were down at the pier. I saw you guys when you were down over there by the barbecue joint. He's telling us all the spots he's seen us. But we're not in front of his house. We're 3 doors down. We're actually 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're 3 buildings down from him. And he's a freaking renter. Okay? You ain't even an owner. Because the owner loves us. The owner for this building right here in front, they love us. The people at the gallery, they love us. All the people that work at the gallery come see us. All the people that work in all these businesses come see us. But the way he came about it, it was so patronizing. It was so...
Like he was doing you a favor.
He thought, let me just tell you what he really thought. Like this clip we're about to show, he thought he had him some dumb niggas. Some dumb spics and some dumb poor white trash. Because I'm sure he treats poor white trash, niggas, and spics all the same.
Yeah, equal opportunity.
Yeah. This is not a black thing. This is him believing that we're just some dumb people. Oh! The police pull up on the corner and they back up at the hydrant and they're getting out. He says, let me go because I don't want to cause you any problems. I said, who are you going to cause me problems with, sir? He's like, no, the cops, they just pulled off. I said, what? I said, those cops are getting out of their car to walk across the street to the deli to get their free cup of coffee, and they're probably going to play they're going to probably pay because that's a fence, not a fence. It's a bookie there. So all the cops go there, they get their free coffee, and they place bets.
Yeah.
No, so it's a place where they can place bets, and they're up to that's all they're doing. Phones are ringing all day long. Like right now for the playoffs, it's like the guys like this, nonstop. Like he got like 14 bets. Phones going off all over the place taking bets, and all the cops are putting in their bets with this place. They've been doing that for 30 years on that corner. And I said, no, those cops are gonna go get their free coffee and possibly play their bet. Well, you don't know your community. Yeah, are you gonna go across the street and tell them you don't like illegal betting? What are you talking about? Because everything I'm doing here is 100% legal. So anyway, I just digress from that. But let me tell you, this clip that we're about to show, man, I've experienced this from these people. And when I say these people, I'm talking about the people that think that they can just walk over to anybody, talk to them any kind of way, and let them think you a nigger or a spick or poor white trash. They're going to think they can muscle you and push you around. That's what this woman in this clip thinks she could do. She thinks she could just push people around, and they got to listen because they're just niggas, spicks, and poor white trash.
And young.
And young. So they definitely going to stop and listen. So here, let's play that clip.
Dan, I think you were itching to say something beforehand, but you were going to say something before.
No.
Gotcha.
Please help me. Please help me. Please.
Is there any setup for the
No, it's self-explanatory. The young kid even starts to edit it. I mean, narrate it.
Please help me. Please help me. Please help me. Help. Please get out.
Got lower the light.
Yeah, there's a light.
The light is too bright.
Why you took his phone?
It's called like cash.
I'm not touching you. You put a yes on my hand. Dude, stop. Dude, stop. No.
Please help. Please help.
She's just crying. You're not crying. I got stupid. I got your video. Where you put it out? Hassan, you put it out? Hassan, you put it out? This is my bike, so my account. Please move.
All right, so why don't we reset the bike?
I'm not resetting the bike. It's his.
I'm gonna pull it out on your account.
I don't give a fuck. This is my fake client.
Guys,
This is fake client. Stop fake crying.
Hey,
stop touching me. Don't touch me.
Hold up.
Hey, stop touching me. Stop touching me.
Why don't you take this bike?
Stop touching me.
I will.
Exactly. So take it. Stop the baby gonna come out with something. How you stop crying? Not a tear came down, miss. Not a tear came down.
Help! Help me! Please help me! Please help me! Please help me! Help! Please get out!
What the fuck is going on, bro? Now you're not getting the bike, bro. Now you're not getting the bike.
Help!
You're not getting the bike. Why you took his phone? What's wrong with you? You're not touching his phone. You're not touching his phone. I'm not touching you. You put a yes on my hand. Dude, stop. No.
The voice of reason in the purple.
She's just crying. You're not crying. I got stupid. I got your video. Where you put it out? Hassan, you put it out? Hassan, you put it out? This is my bike, so my account. Please move.
All right, so why don't we reset the bike?
I'm not resetting the bike. It's his.
I'm gonna pull it out on your account.
I don't give a fuck. This is my fake client. This is fake client. Stop fake crying. Hey, stop touching me. Don't touch me.
Hold up.
Hey, stop touching me.
Why don't you take this bike?
Stop touching me.
I will.
Exactly. So take it. The baby gonna come out with something. How you stop crying?
Your baby gonna come out with
came down, miss. Not a tear came down.
All right. Go ahead. Chomping at the bit, Daddy.
She screamed, "Help me,
help me. Then had the nerve to say, this lady has a mental illness. Because she said,
Fine.
you're hurting my unborn fetus.
Oh, she said, oh, I didn't
Yes.
hear that. Oh, yeah.
So she ain't even pregnant yet.
She said, my unborn
Is that what that
fetus."
means? I don't know what
I,
that
that,
means.
that,
But
maybe
my thing
I would
is-
assume she's pregnant.
The white person, the guy, who's seems like he have a similar uniform, like
Her colleague.
your colleague,
Yeah.
said,
The white person.
why don't you reset it and give it to her?
Yes.
But do you hear what that young black man said? No, she can fucking walk.
Mm.
He was not giving, and that's the thing. Oh, I love these black brothers. I want to give them a scholarship or something. I think we should give them an award. One, because they held their composure when they could have easily tossed their ass off his bike that he paid for on his account.
Not that we're encouraging violence in any
Exactly.
way.
No, I'm just saying.
Could
what
you
he could
see
have
yourself maybe pushing her off?
Done. Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. She would have been on the floor, and I would have. Yes, when I'm justified and right, and she's sitting there saying, "Help!" Like somebody is hurting her.
Right.
If I'm gonna get arrested, there's gonna be a reason for it. I'm not just going.
I
That's my
gotta agree with
mentality.
Daniel, man.
You would push her. You would have pushed her to.
I would've-
off?
No,
forced her.
not that. No. I would have threatened to slap her. I would have pushed. I'm not gonna push. I'm not gonna do anything that's not gonna be a final thing. So if I don't want to do push and pull, because that will frustrate me to the point where it might escalate more.
Right.
I'll say if you don't do if please let go of this. This is the last time I was saying it. Just please let go of this.
Right.
If you don't let go of this, I'm going to slap you, and you're gonna
Whoa.
escalate the situation.
Hypothetically,
Do not
this is a
ex-
hypothetical situation. Ulrich is not violent. He does not have violence towards any women whatsoever. He's just giving his take on this scenario here.
I was getting heated, I was getting heated to the clench it, and not the race. The race had nothing to do with it.
No.
There's something.
It's her mentality.
Yeah, it's the screaming and
It's
the
the
fake crime
mentality.
that
By the way,
triggers me in
she's
some way.
she's a physician's associate.
An assistant. Yeah,
She's
I don't
a
know.
physician's
Assistant.
Assistant.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think there's a.
they're not assistants anymore. They're associates.
Okay.
They're
Can I
physician
just-
associate.
Can I just say one
Uh,
thing?
it seems even that sounds less
All right,
less
so-
important than assistant.
My
Go
thing is, it is about race. Because once a colleague came there and said, get off the bike, she automatically did. She listened to him.
But that's because it's her colleague.
No. She didn't know that was a colleague. She was looking at it. She didn't know. She just know it's a white face like mine. That's what she was looking for help.
Did they
You
have
think she was
similar
looking for help for
uniforms?
black
Did they have
people?
similar
Yes,
uniforms?
yes, they had blue.
So then,
blue.
come on.
No. Regardless of the cases, she probably didn't know. It's a big hospital. She don't know everybody there. Oh, you serious?
I just think she thinks it's a trust. You work at my hospital. You
Yes,
work
exactly.
Right.
No.
But that's
you think
enough.
it'll be
I don't think it's
maintenance,
a
it'll
white.
be whatever. So
I
let's
think
not
it's
go
a
there.
white thing.
So all I'm saying, it was a white thing.
Oh god.
Because these were young black kids. She screamed like that because she knew she was going to get the attention that she needed.
I
She thought
think
she was gonna get her way.
I think
Yes.
she got away, but I think the attention. I think the Karen behavior kind of works against these women now, rather than
Only
it works
when there's
for
a
them.
camera.
Yeah,
That- I
When
agree.
there's a
That's
camera,
fair
but
enough.
also, you got kids that's young enough not to understand the repercussions of what may happen.
Yeah,
You see, like
yeah.
they're on the borderline. You see, there was different kids. There was some that was really aggressive, like, yo, let me just.
There was one kid. There was one kid that was just escalating.
Yeah, because he was
Kid
upset,
coming-
which I get.
Your kid's
And
gonna be retarded, nigga.
Yeah, but it's just you had.
See, when I'm
different varieties.
angry, it never goes to insult. If I'm angry already, I'm never at the point of insulting somebody. So I don't even
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that. All right.
Well,
I mean,
Let me-
you
let me-
gotta remember though, they did almost hurt her unborn fetus, and that's very important. You should never do that.
Let me
go
say something. You know, this thing reminded me a lot of my situation that happened with this guy, and him just feeling like he can say whatever he wants. You see, these people with this mentality, they feel that they can. They feel that, especially here in New York, you feel it a lot. Even though this is a huge melting pot, right? We have this big melting pot where you can. I was driving by today, and I was like, I could have shot a Benetton commercial on the stoop. It was this Asian girl, very Asian, right? Very Asian. Like we're talking about like with the short mini dress, right? With the knee high socks with the platform white sneakers, right? And the white glasses and this weird hat. It was like she just, the way her hat was with the mini dress and the high knee socks and the big platform shoes, Asian. And then right next to her there was a black girl, looked like she came straight out of Africa with like the long.
It's funny how you
listen, look. She looked like
the Asian. I was like, ooh.
yeah, no, she looked. She came straight out of Africa. She had on the red and the black and the blue colors of her garb were just so
Did you
intense.
say it was multicultural people?
And then, right, so now we got the Asian, we got the black, and then the white girl was a straight up ginger. Whitest, pearliest white skin with the reddest ginger hair on a stoop in Manhattan. So yes, you're gonna find an eclectic array of all these diversities in New York. But one of the things that you do have in New York is this: it's a white city. It's a very, 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 very white town. There are so many parts of New York you can go to. You know this. You're the only black guy in most of the places you go. You're the only black guy in most of the places you go. Let's not play that game. I know you long.
You're talking about bars? You're talking about bars?
I'm not only talking about bars. I'm talking about events.
Yes.
I'm talking about places,
eating,
food.
restaurant. Yes.
I don't go to restaurants.
Yo, Daniel goes to restaurants. He's the only black guy there.
Yeah, but I don't go to restaurants.
And New York City, these people, like this woman.
It's probably one of the most diverse places in the world, and it's still, well, in America, and it's still very, very white.
Very segregated.
Yes.
Segregated, and it's classism, huge classism. So we got these guys, and let me just tell you, they were not ADOS or FBA. These were not fundamentally blacks. These were not American-born slavery. These were African kids or Haitian kids. And this is one of the reasons why I would argue, even though the one who said that your baby gonna come out retarded, who was kind of amping it up, he might have been the only black American friend that they had. They kind of talk like
Americans.
You kind of talk like an American. Stop it. These kids. These kids were not American black kids.
I'm just saying they were Africans.
This is what you have to understand.
I'm not just defending Africans.
I have a point here. I'm gravitating to a point, and what I'm telling you is that this woman thought she was dealing with African American kids, fundamentally black and ADOS, American descendants of slavery. She thought that she was going to start screaming and crying, and that black child was going to say, all right, you got it. Take it. Just put it back. I'm going to cancel it, and you take it. You put your code in. Because one of the kids, he was willing to do that. He was like, yo, man, it ain't that serious. He was going to give up his bike. You see, what it was that in New York City, there's these city bikes, these rental bikes, and they have a gray bike. And that gray bike is an electric bike. It costs $5. It costs 50 cents, 10 cents a minute. How much? Yeah. And Daniel, you ride city bikes, right?
Yes,
do you ever ride the electric one?
Yes, I do.
And how much more is the electric one?
I don't know. I get a discount. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So these bikes,
but it is
most people are trying to grab the electric bike first. So when she got to the stand, these kids went on their app and they punched in their code and they got the 2 last electric bikes. And when they went to pull that electric bike, she thought she was dealing with some black kids from the hood, and she was gonna muscle them and start yelling and screaming and crying, and they were gonna just let her take it. And that's the way that would have worked, was they would have just taken it out of the tray that it's in, and then put it back in the tray, and then she was gonna then put in her code and then take that bike out. But they were like, lady, we already put our code. We know. Let me tell you, New York City with this bike game, do you ride city bikes in New York? No. Yeah, but the city bike in New York game, it's no joke. It's dog eat dog. It's dog, especially for the electric bike. So we got a woman who's leaving work, probably works 16 hours a day, right? She's leaving work, and is she pregnant or not pregnant? I don't know. She don't want to pedal. And she knows those were the last 2 e-bikes. And there ain't gonna be another e-bike.
You don't have to pedal at all?
You don't have to pedal at all. It's totally electric. It's an electric bicycle. I mean, it's pedal assist. It's pedal assist. But it's basically gonna get you up that hill. She might have 2 or 3 hills to go to. and you got these little black boys.
What's wrong with public
snatching up the
transportation?
last two, huh?
What's wrong with public transportation for
Yeah,
her?
whatever the problem is, she's
She's
wasn't gonna
pregnant.
let.
She shouldn't be riding no bike.
She's not gonna let these boys, black boys. But what she didn't know was these wasn't regular black boys. These were like you and you kind of black
Oh my
boys.
gosh.
A little different black.
I'm
boys.
not any different than any other black.
No, you are
black
different
young
already.
man.
Very
You are different
I am
already.
educated,
Yeah,
even as
yeah,
a kid, I ain't
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Whoa, you are racist. You're
What you
racist.
want.
I don't
I
think.
I don't think like that.
I don't
know.
think. No, you do think like that.
No.
I don't. This is the. This is the thing. They're not saying no matter black or white. If black or white, if you're on the left, you are racist. If you're, I'm telling you. That,
Oh, stop it, Ulrich. Oh, stop it. Let me just say this.
I don't believe
Do
any
you
racism be
deny what I'm saying to you that this woman thought these were American black kids?
I
agree.
no, I agree.
She thought those were American black kids and she was gonna muscle them
That
around
had
because
fear in them from
yes,
their
parents fear
parents, but these were
something you ain't got.
exactly.
Ulrich, you ain't got that fear in you the way the regular kid does. I'm telling you, by you being raised, yes, your father is American, but your mom is not American. So your mentality is different.
But my mother-
and she
my mother-
ran into 3 of yous out
My
there.
mother raised me to comply and not to get in this situation.
Right,
That's how my mother raised me. I never.
So she raised you like a black American.
She raised me to comply, not stand up for yourself arbitrarily. She didn't teach me
Well,
that.
I'll be honest.
My mother rather have me not get in a bad situation that can escalate.
And
I don't
be,
listen.
And I'm gonna
but,
be honest. I agree. Or my mother was the same way, but my stepfather.
He
bless
was
him.
the militant one.
He was like you.
He's the one that used to tell me, cut off the light. And I used to be like, what that mean? Cut off the light.
He taught me.
Cut that light on. Cut that light on.
I don't think pride is healthy if it
started-
comes from outside of you.
Nah,
I think that needs to build upside. If you get pride, like people say, when they say teach kids to be proud, that's when it gets warped because that's not. They don't understand it because it's not natural. It doesn't come from it. I'm telling you.
Children are computers. You punching in all the data. Stop
Well, let me
it.
just say this.
I'm telling
My
you.
stepfather would taught me as a young kid. He had a rent strike. Mind you, he used to run the building that we were living in.
But do you think you're truly a proud person?
Yes.
Do you
Yo,
think
put your
I
phone on for the
love
show.
everything about
What you
me
want
and my
me
people.
Just have it playing.
I love everything about me
playing.
and my people. I got it.
Play the show, please.
No, I got it. I got it.
I got premium black. Sorry.
So I'm just saying I love everything.
I got it.
Yeah. All right. You saying what?
Well, I'm saying the reason I became proud was because I was educated on what we've done as a people, what African Americans have done, what Latinos have done. That changed my whole dynamic. But let me just get into what my stepfather did. One time he did this rent strike with everybody in the building. He put all the money in escrow, and the landlord came. It was at the meeting, meeting with the tenants, and he was just bumping. Now, mind you, my father was probably 600 pounds. Big guy, big guy. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he was. Why you even bring that part up?
Because he could be. Most people find him intimidating, but
Yeah.
this white guy. Well, just to say, this landlord that happened to be white.
Was he a Jew? Or was he a small hat?
I'm not.
Well, he wasn't dressed like that.
I'm not. No, he was
Not
not.
gonna
So he was
anything
just
like
regular.
that.
Right.
So he had, pointed at my father, screaming at him, telling him, how he's wrong and how they're wrong and everything else. And I'm sitting there saying, most people be intimidated by doing that. But this guy felt like it was no problem I could do this. And I never forget, I was like, what is my father going to say? And everything else. And I sit there and said, he said, yes, sir, master, sir. Is there anything else you want me to do?
So your stepfather, when he was being yelled at for organizing a rent strike in the building, he then placated him with like slavery,
jargon.
slave jargon.
And I never forgot. I seen the man stop. He turned so red. He didn't know.
He was trolling him when he used the slave jargon.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't trolling at the time, though.
But it was still trolling. Yeah, it was still
trolling.
trolling.
By the definition we know it to be
he
now.
Said, and I never. He said, "Yes, sir, master." And I never forgot how the landlord's face stopped, turned red, and he didn't know what to say.
I mean, would you know what to say?
Hold on. But the fact that this big man that could have just slapped him down, could have did anything else, could have had everybody else would have. If he would have said, let's beat his ass, everybody would have. Just said that to actually, was so intelligent to say, and educated to say that. He said, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you're not going to talk to me that way.
So after he said the yes, sir, master, sir,
Yeah.
then he said
he said, I don't know. And
that'd be funny if the guy didn't understand the sarcasm. Like, hey, you were just agreeing with me. Continue.
But that, as a youth, that taught me being proud and realizing that people will try to talk to you, and that was the beginning of me being proud and learning how to deal with situations like that.
Do you think?
So when I see these young men, I see myself.
Okay, so do you think?
I'm proud of them and what they did. They stood up for themselves, and I feel like if we all did that, if we all were educated like that and understand we could stand, they wouldn't do it. Cops would not stop and frisk and everything else if everyone was against it. If we stuck together and everybody was educated enough to say, you're wrong.
You know why stop and frisk got it? You know who
we're not going to get into stop and frisk.
We're not
going to get into stop and frisk.
That's how I
feel. It was
feel.
black people were part of the reason why stop and frisk got.
Yeah, but just because somebody got convinced, that's called problem reaction solution. I'm not impressed by people creating a problem and then asking you, how should we solve that? Here, we've thought of a great way, but they're the ones that created the problem. You know, but anyway, we're not going to go there. This is what we have.
These young black men, I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm very proud of them. I think the way they handled themselves as young men were great, and they stood up for themselves.
Right.
And
there's also the camera, though.
Yes. And the camera, because a lot of these incidents don't go the way this, this
I was mad at myself for not having. Normally, I keep my GoPro down here. If I would have had my GoPro and just had it on recorder, just left it right here, just so we could have captured this guy telling me how there shouldn't be a problem with him walking up to me with a smile and telling him that he wants me to move. You want me to move my dispensary from off your block, and I should be thankful that you're talking to me, but not calling somebody on me.
Yeah, well, he's so I think those two are different. I agree with you what you said. He's patronizing you. She's trying to manipulate the situation. Let
me stop you.
I think it's the same.
Hold up.
It's privilege.
It's privilege.
I have the right to do this.
I have the right to stop you.
Exactly.
When you these kids already got the bikes.
Exactly.
She knows on her phone that both those bikes that she's walking to the bike shop, looking on her phone, and she sees the two go away. And she was not having it. She's like, not today. And she gonna push those boys off the bike.
Did you
and
see
take
her?
the bike?
And she took this. Hold on. Did you not realize she took one of the guy's phones?
Right.
So you think
she also pushed his hand away?
So you think you think her manipulative? What I saw manipulative, immature. I don't know how you can derive that directly from being privileged, because manipulative behavior and immaturity, I see that I work with poor kids.
She's banking on that kid being scared of her.
Yeah, but you scared me looking over. Is affluent does that exist only in affluence? What I'm saying is, does that kind of manipulation and that kind of immaturity and that kind of behavior not only exist when you're in a place of privilege? Because when I'm saying you're diagnosing it as privilege, that's what I'm having an issue with. You have that one guy.
What is privilege, Ulrich?
What is privilege?
Mm-hmm.
So what it is to be privileged is to have some kind of either social, financial advantage, or it can even, to be honest, it can be an aesthetic advantage too. You can be privileged in a lot of ways. You can be privileged being pretty. You can be privileged being rich. You can be privileged. But I think in this term,
it's not that she's privileged being white. It's that everyone else is beneath her. Not, and I say this. Niggas, spics, and poor white trash. She would do this to white boys too.
Yeah,
a certain group of white boys. She's not gonna do that to the white boys.
So you call her an elitist, not a racist.
Yeah, she's okay. An elitist. She would do this to if she saw a bunch of Mexicans jumping on those things. She would have been like, "Excuse me," and she'd have took it.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that.
But what she didn't bank on was those black boys had the power of the camera and they had the power of not
I don't know
having
how
parents.
wait, this is 2000, this is 2023. I don't know how anybody cannot assume the poorest person has a camera phone.
Right.
So I don't even understand how that's not just indicative
They
of the
don't
situation.
think it's gonna ever get to that point. It's
Her
like,
yelling help doesn't
Yes,
think that
she
doesn't
does
think that would
not-
escalate a
she's not- no, no,
situation.
She purposely wanted to escalate.
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, no, I
She wanted
agree
them
with
to,
that,
what's the
yeah.
word, concede.
Yeah.
She wanted them to go, all right, take it. Come on, we'll just get the pedal bike.
But you know what that's what I said,
I
the
agree with
education of-
I agree with you that she was trying to win the situation, but that's not indicative. What I'm staying away from is that whether that's her trying to win the situation is indicative of some kind of inherent racism or inherent privilege. I think, and I feel like that always happens when you teeter on, especially when you look at Karen videos. You start teetering on that thing, especially when it's because what. Daniel, what attracted you to that video? Was that video pop out a little more because it was a white woman and there's a bunch of black dudes surrounding him?
No, it reminded me of situations I've been in numerous times.
Right.
It reminds me of when you stand up for. I always try to be beyond reproach, meaning that I know I'm justified in what I'm doing, and I know I'm right. And these young men were doing it, and even though, as you said, even if she was trying to manipulate the situation, whatever the case is, she couldn't do it with these guys. The kids stood up for themselves.
Yeah,
these young. I mean, I say kids. These young men stood up for themselves.
And I think I'm mature, and I would have handled the situation worse than them because I really likely if it was that close to the situation, something would have happened where it escalated. So those young kids handled the situation better than I think I have. I'm giving them respect.
No,
I respect the way they
saying.
handled the
But
situation.
I like what Daniel just said. His correcting you to say young men is kind of cool because he's not looking at them as kids. What they did was what moves you, what makes a man. Like my son is constantly wanting to know when will he be a man, and it's by your actions.
Well, no. Well, which one was made? There were three people. So who's the person who? There had to be one person who was responsible for getting that situation right, because there was there was one other who wanted to escalate it, being in relation to that group of kids, and there was one who was just insulting in the background. But there was one, I guess, who moved towards. So props to one.
It was a combination of all three. It's it's like, believe it or not, what
I don't think it's a combination of one thing. I think if you have leaders, the world is full of leaders and followers. So what happened is they're just lucky enough to have the kid in that group, the one who had the most respect.
The one who wouldn't move.
When
he's holding the handlebars. He has his phone in his hand and the handlebars in his hand. She slides in between him, steps in between him, and tries to mount the bike and push him off the bike, screaming, "Help, help, help."
You see, but my thing is, why does it have to be one leader? Why couldn't it be?
Because they were doing different
hold on,
things
but
that could have either helped or hurt the situation.
But my thing is, they all may have balanced each other out. I'm aggressive, but my friend is not, so he's bringing it down, saying,
Great
this.
Great point.
This. Stop saying, oh, there's one guy, one kid. No, there was not one.
So what would be the utility of?
Because they all could have. The aggressive one could have slapped her. He could have.
I agree with.
It could have been the combination.
I'm glad they didn't have. I'm glad they didn't put hands on her.
Exactly.
I'm totally against them putting hands on her because when you put hands on these characters,
you lose the argument.
You lose the argument.
Exactly, and that's why I said it's so great that they didn't. Regardless of what he may have said something aggressive, he didn't go with that.
Right.
He could have thought it. We all thought it. You thought it.
It would have been cool if he would have just sat on the bike and just start driving, and she's like, he's like, I'm trying to get away from you. Especially when she started screaming help, he could have literally just started trying to drive out of that situation. He could have went there.
I feel like the fact they stuck together and made sure, no, she's not going with this. This is not hers. She needs to get off. I'm not getting off. You have no right to even tell me to get off.
I'm not against them standing up for themselves.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't against.
This
I
is
wasn't
one of the
against
few
that.
times that we're all in agreement. These young men did their thing.
Right.
They need an award. They need to be mayor for the day.
Oh my God. But I'm glad they got themselves out of a potentially bad situation. That's what.
So what should happen to the Karen?
Nothing should happen to the situation.
I think the hospital's reviewing it. Or her friend's gonna sit there and say, "Sweetheart, we're gonna have to sometimes, we may have to distance ourselves from you."
No, you reap what you sow.
Her friends are just like her.
No, her behavior is going to get her
But
into
her
more
behavior-
situations like that, more combative situations,
don't know.
and eventually that could
The
lead to
fact
her
that your
losing her
hospital is
relationships.
The
That could
fact
lead
that
to
the
her.
hospital sends out a statement saying we're reviewing this because this is something we
I don't believe
want
in
our
cosmic
community.
karma, but I believe you reap what you sow.
But my
you
thing is,
reap.
I feel it's going to be difficult for her to move on from that job. People.
Oh
at
yeah,
the
well,
job,
because this went
everybody
viral.
at
Yeah,
the job,
well,
I
yeah,
know you
that's
think
the
everybody
consequences
at her
of
job is going to
internet.
look at her differently.
Should she be canceled?
I don't
Totally.
believe in that. No, I don't
Totally.
believe in cancel
Totally.
for
I
anybody.
think she should be done. I think she should go to Arizona.
Ooh.
No, Florida. I'm sorry. She'll be great in Florida. They'll love her in
Florida.
Florida. I think she'll be excellent.
First of all, let me tell you something. I've witnessed my mom, not in that situation. I witnessed my mom at retail stores act like such a Karen, it would drive me insane. Where I didn't want to go around with her. So listen.
Give us an example.
Like a few years ago, we were at Macy's, and like I don't know, she wanted to get a Macy's card, and sometimes they let you apply for a Macy's card in the moment.
Right.
If you apply for the Macy's card in the moment, it's significant. Has a potential
Like
to
15%
significantly
off right
drop
now,
your price.
on top of the 35% off on the ticket.
Yeah.
You're gonna walk away only paying 20%.
Yeah, and so she wasn't getting this Macy's card, and the attitude. I was embarrassed to be around when she was walking. And I'm not saying that's to insult our mother, my mother. I'm saying that when we talk about canceling people, remember how toxic some of our family members are. And I'm happy those kids got out got out the situation unscathed. And I think that lady had the potential to escalate and put those kids in a situation where they ruin their lives. But a lot of people that probably are in our close circle don't know how to act. So once again, the throwing stone stuff. I am not for anybody being canceled. Because a motherfucker in my circle can act. Now, nobody acts like that because I don't hang out with chicks. But if someone in my circle acted it.
Wait. You're at Macy's, and what happened? The worker didn't want to give your mother the.
Sorry. Okay, all right. So the worker, the Macy's card she wasn't applying that. She couldn't get it. Sometimes they look at different things you can apply for the Macy's card.
Right.
And
they told her no.
And she made a movie until she got a discount. She ended up getting a discount.
They were like, "Ma'am, you don't get the card, but not only are we're gonna give you a manager's discount to calm you down."
Yeah, but just to shut her up.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the question. I know your mom, as far as this person that you described.
Yeah.
At this register, right? I know this person. I've seen this person.
Yeah.
My question to you is your mother playing a role, or is this her? Was she knowing that she was going to get something, so she went so left, so to speak?
No.
That
That's
she
not really.
She knew they were going to give her something. So
No.
Make a
That's not really her personality. But that's not really necessarily her personality. She just thought it was. I think she truly thought in her mind that it's not fair or something. But I don't think she did it with the means that she thought she was going to trick him. That's how I know.
Can I say?
But I will say, but with this lady also, because we talked about this lady also, that she may have mental illness. It's funny how we care about mental illness until someone with mental illness does something to piss us off. All of a sudden, it's not mental illness. Because if she had mental illness, she should be excused for her behavior. Okay. So either that or she doesn't have mental illness. All right.
I'm gonna say this. Your mother didn't put anybody's life in jeopardy. This woman did. This woman specifically yelled, "Help, help, help," knowing that they're going to come to her rescue. Hold on. Let's get right with the cameras. Let's stop this. This woman put these young black men in jeopardy. Your mother put a worker in jeopardy? No. To get a discount?
We're comparing Karen. We're comparing Karen behavior.
No, but I get your point, though.
That's maybe I want to just whatever the case is. I'm frustrated. This woman purposely knew that they was going to come to save her.
How do you know her intention?
First of all, she knew these fake tears was going to get these white men to come and help her, and a cop will definitely be on her side.
So is she manipulative or mentally ill?
Both.
That can't be. Those two can't.
Yes,
Listen,
it can.
all right. I'm not going to say those two can't exist.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to say. I'm not going to go as far to say those two can't exist. But I'm saying if you truly believe she's mental illness, some of her, and you were saying she was mentally ill in relation.
Hold on a second. Mental illness.
She was saying she was
Stop thinking mental illness is just one specific thing. Like, oh my goodness, it has to be.
It's an illness.
It's an
illness.
but-
All right. So if she is ill, if her behavior is based on her being ill,
Maybe she
then
wasn't-
that eradicates
no,
her
no, no,
responsibility.
No, it does not.
So maybe we should need to talk about whether that we talk about
there's
ill.
people
All right.
who are autistic that can perform amazing things. This may have been her amazing time.
Yeah, but when they act
Not
like
saying that she
yeah, but
doesn't
when
have-
they don't look at when they're being out surely rude, because I work with kids on the spectrum, and some of the kids they act up until they act up in ways where they piss you off. They make you want to hit them.
Okay,
What I'm saying, they act
irrationally.
irrationally. They act irrational. What I'm saying is they act irrational. What I'm saying is they act irrationally.
Okay, how
right?
about they irrational not with their diagnosis? Say a kid has bipolar, but he's not acting bipolar. He's just acting like an asshole.
But we don't know her. You said she was mentally ill
I
based
think
on how she was
I
acting.
said I think she has a mental
But
illness.
but we only saw one video of her, and
Yes.
and you based that one video saying she's mentally
I
ill.
could be
So
wrong.
so
I'm
that
not-
no, I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
trying to
I'm not
argue whether or not she's
certified.
mentally.
Well,
I'm not
we
arguing
do
whether or
know her
not she's
type.
mentally ill. I'm not.
The chances of her not being on lithium are very, very small.
Yeah, and don't you and the. Karen, first of all, the people who call you know, I'm thinking of a trope, but like an old lady or a lady who outside and is all freaked out, and she's calling the police. She's calling the police on people she sees outside.
Wait, but my thing is this,
I'm talking about, she's irrational. She's irrational. And she's doing something that can potentially ruin somebody's life and potentially get them in trouble and potentially do something for calling something little. So are those old lady? Are those old? We are judgmental to the point where we are intellectually inconsistent with our criticism of other things and other things.
Well, let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
We've started normalizing Karens as a whole spectrum, but initially it was just white women who were doing this to people of color. That's what it is. All of a sudden it's been, oh, a Karen is anyone that does this. If she does it to a white group of kids, if she does this, stop it. We know what the initial Karen was. We're not going to normalize that and say what your mother did.
No,
as a Karen.
normalize. What do you mean normalize?
That's what I'm going for. That's what.
But
that
I'm
was
not
the
talking about
original
black.
basis for Karen.
Who's that original? What do you mean original base? Who's
Well,
agreed with? First of all,
Karens
Karen
were
is a colloquialism. It is a
Exactly.
yeah,
But
but
it
it
was
is a
used when
slang. It is
someone-
it is not a definition. It is an
was
empty.
named by a black person talking to a white woman that was named Karen.
Does that
Stop
validate
it.
the legitimacy of the definition
Yes,
of Karen?
it does.
So
It was
wait, what
somebody done
validate?
that.
What validates the legitimacy of the definition? Because a
All
black.
I'm gonna say is
What
this,
validates
okay,
the legitimacy
you know
of
what,
the
I'm gonna just
definition?
do this. I love and appreciate them young black men.
Okay.
Them young
We
black
get that.
men.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
We get your point on that.
Whatever she
Can
was,
I just say something? Emmett Till.
Whoa!
Is he like? Can we take a moment for Emmett Till and go, like, this is what I look at when I see her. I see Emmett Till in those boys,
Till.
those men. Emmett Till.
Mm-hmm.
Emmett Till was accused of something that he didn't do. This woman tried to accuse this gentleman, these young men, of something that they didn't do. And because of the camera phone, was able to slow that bullshit down. And I think that Emmett Till is what's the word? You know, what's the opposite of rolling around in your grave? You roll around in your grave when you're upset about something, right? What is it when you're happy and the roosters come to
when the chickens come to roost.
When the chickens come to roost, something to that degree. Maybe in the comment section.
He's smiling in his grave.
He's smiling in his grave. Emmett Till is smiling in his grave right now because this woman could have had these young men shot and killed. It could have been real ugly. The wrong person could have been driving by and saw this woman screaming for help, and it could have got real ugly in those streets. And I that's why I do like what you said earlier, the dynamic between the three gentlemen that were there, because one was willing to just give up his bike. He was like, all right, it's not that serious, because he was raised by a parent like myself, like you and you, that didn't want us causing no drama. And my mother was very clear. My mother was very, 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 very clear. She don't want me causing no drama, and she didn't want me causing no drama with the white folks. My mother has said that to me many times, where we and they were different.
Well, I'm just gonna say this. I think our parents, well, I know my mother did it because of the stories like Emmett Till.
Right.
It's rather I get it. You want your child to come back.
Yeah, and let me ask this: why is my reference to him shining in his grave, smiling in his grave? Why is that such a stretch?
No, not. I think he wishes this wasn't even still a thing 40 years. 50,
No, that's not the
years,
issue.
100 years. For me, I'm talking for me.
Right.
I just feel like it shouldn't be an issue anymore, and it still is. And I don't think
it's not going to change, because
but that's
these.
I think when we think things
especially here in this town, they believe that if you're not part of their group, you're less than them. And they treat the waiters like this too.
The elitists?
The elitists. I wouldn't even, and they treat the waiters like this. The way your mother treated that person that was ringing them up. They got the woman who's treating the guy who's serving them the water that way. They got people that are treating the guy who's serving them food that way. They got a person who's treating the person who's carrying their luggage and their mail, and they're driving their Uber car. Some of these Uber car people get treated so horribly by this mentality. And this mentality is not that of only white. This mentality is that of just this elitist idea of who they are. She's in the hospital field. She thinks that maybe she's just, all that, and her shit.
No. That's definitely, because my mother cleaned houses when she first came to America. She was in school.
I'm not talking about your mother. I'm talking about that white woman.
Gotcha.
That white. You see, I don't even think it's because I do know that. Let me just also say this. This woman who was screaming for help the way she was not an Italian or an Irish woman. This was a real white woman.
I thought she could have been even Palestinian or Indian or some kind of. I think she could have been.
I can't.
No, I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is she was darker.
When I say
she was a darker
real
white woman.
I'm talking about the ones that are from like England, the ones they go back to, what's that called, Scotland. That's where their families are from. Their families are not from Italy, and no, because those Italian whites here in New York and those Irish whites in New York, they're like regular people. But there's a different white, and there's that idea that I'm better than you, and you guys are just, like I keep saying, niggas, pigs, and poor white trash, and they treat them horribly.
I think anyone looks at, let me not say anyone, a lot of people look at people of color different. I don't care what nationality they're from, what their descendants are, whatever the case is.
Right.
Black is at the bottom and Latinos are at the bottom.
I think people
don't care what nationality you come from, what part of Europe you come from, where you're descended from.
It does make a difference. It does make. An Italian guy is not going to come over here pushing people off their bikes.
That's not true. I've been in Italy. The way they treat Africans totally different.
Okay.
So it's again, it's of color. Everyone wants to feel superior.
So how are white people treated mostly like black countries? They just get the carpenter. So you've been to Africa, a lot of these countries. So if there's a group of black,
where you been to in Africa? Oh, Daniel, Morocco and all that, right? Oh, I thought you went to Morocco.
I thought you were
Africa. No, I have not been.
But you went to Cuba, Brazil, where dark people have more presence. So have you ever? So how are white people treated in those areas? If you notice,
It depends.
They're treated like kings and queens because there's this thing that I saw, this black woman on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel, and she says that any contact with white people are all positive in Africa. They come with food, they come with little snacks, they come with bottled water, they come with sandals. Every experience they have is that of being helped. So they look up to them. They revere them big time, so.
Actually, that does make sense.
Anyway,
Because-
we're going to digress from this topic. What was the other one that, since we're here live, instead of hanging up, Let's show the other one that you just. Oh no, that was that T situation.
Nah, I'm not. I don't want.
We're not gonna touch
honestly,
that.
I don't even.
I think
Not even because I'm scared. I don't even want to validate that bullshit anymore.
All right.
Sorry.
You are appreciated. We'll see you next week. Next week we won't be in the car because Daniel and me and Ulrich will make sure that all our times line up. And we, because Ulrich was pretty pissed off and refused to get out of the car.
You see, you keep on Ellis is just using me as a patsy. That's called a patsy right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, you have to have 3 names to be a patsy.
You need 3 names to be patsy?
Yeah.
So 3 people that you roll on?
No, 3 names in your name.
No, a patsy is someone who you use to take the
all
fall.
patsies that take the fall have 3 names.
Oh, I got you. That's like what's his name? Darn it, I forgot who shot Martin Luther. Who allegedly shot Martin? Who didn't shoot Martin Luther? James O. Ray did. The person who didn't shoot Martin Luther.
In order to be a patsy, you have to have 3 names, 3 first names.
Oh, it's 3 first names?
3 first names,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And that's an absolute fact that James O. Ray did the shoot Martin, but that's the
we know that.
But
Yeah, that's
James O. Ray did what?
didn't
Did
shoot
not
Martin
shoot,
Luther
of
King.
course.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So sad what happened, man. That damn sheriff, man. What a piece of work.
Damn, man.
All of them, the FBI, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's deeper than that, damn.
Now that's a very interesting story. If y'all want to look the real Martin Luther King stuff and how he's taken out, that's when you see how actual, I guess, racism or control works. It's not by
and everybody, all these blacks love the mob, not realizing they were the ones that facilitated the whole thing.
But the J. Edgar Hoover, the Lyndon Johnsons.
My last name is Johnson.
I'm just saying,
I got the most Latino last name.
The Lyndon. I'm just saying.
Actually, you do not have the most Latino last name. Stop that. Stop the cap.
I have a Latino last name.
And here's the crazy part. Daniel's last name was invented by our grandfather. When he came here, Daniel, let me tell the story. All right? Our grandfather comes to this country, right? While in the war, while he was in World War, what was he in? Was it the Korean War? Was he in Korean War? Yeah, he's in the Korean War. So he's a veteran of the war, Korean War, learns Italian and the Korean War, comes to America and tells them, oh, his name was LeBron. That was his name, LeBron. And he changed it to, he thought was an Italian name, Serrano. But the person wrote down Soriano. So Soriano is the name that was given, which is a Spaniard name. He was trying to give a Latin name. Because, the IG bill and all that kind of stuff that was happening. They were giving the war veterans monies and all this kind of stuff. So he invented that name. So Daniel think he got this most incredible name. It was the idea of the man who came.
Okay, I'm just gonna say
I believe that.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say if he invented the name, then he must have invented it for him and his brothers, because his brothers had the same last name.
They were LeBrons.
No, they were not.
Yes, they were.
No, again, Spanish people have multiple names, but Soriano was their last name.
No, he thought it was an Italian name.
I have his full name except his first name. My middle name
you don't
is
have
part
his full
of,
name.
Yes, I do.
You don't have his full name then. Anyway, you see,
All I'm saying is my name is Latino.
let me just say this. Let me just say this. See, this is the problem right here. What we're going through is there's no, like, our grandmother, right? When she passed, we were like, how old are you, Grandma? Grandma, she's like, I don't know. I'm probably between 74 and 80, because she was born as a child slave. And while she was a child slave for a Dutch family, they didn't have any records of her. So then when our grandfather took her and paid for her to get out of that Dutch family, he bought his wife, brings her to the United States of America from Puerto Rico. They came from Puerto Rico. They were black-skinned Puerto Ricans. They were like straight from Africa kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Straight from Africa to slavery. He gets her out. He learns how to speak Italian. He comes to New York, and our grandfather was a teamster. He was a teamster.
I know the
speaking
union,
Italian.
part of the union.
He was
yeah.
a black skin 5. How tall are you? 5'9". So he was about 5'7", 5'6", cock diesel, black skin, speaking Italian, talking about his name is Soriano.
It's pretty unique looking.
You know,
guy
but here's the
kinda
problem: is
walking
we don't have the history. You know, we don't have the books, we don't have the paperwork. All the stories get all convoluted, and then when we step to our aunts, and we're like, tell us about our grandfather. Oh, we don't want to say nothing bad. I'm like, ladies, just talk history. So you know, we didn't. You know, we're suffering.
They
Man.
also
We're
didn't
suffering.
know too, because remember they were born here. It was only my mother and Lucy that was actually born in
Right,
Puerto Rico.
and Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike was born in there. My mother was the first. My mother was and also my mother was the first light-skinned baby they had. My mother was the first light-skinned baby that they put white on her birth certificate. So my mother, that's how I know his last name, is because he put white on the birth certificate. They put white on my mother's birth certificate, and the very next baby they had, which is Natasha's mother's baby, our cousin Natasha, her mother dark skin, and they didn't put white on hers. So my mother she was like, you know, my mother was the one who would throw it in their face. What are you talking about? I'm
Hey, so
white.
my grandma was
I'm
your
not-
color.
Your grandmother was my color.
Yeah, my grandpa.
But your mother's lighter than me, though.
No, my mother's
Your
darker
mother's
than you.
darker than me?
Yeah, but my grandfather's like 3 times darker than him. Like
Nice.
really, yeah.
Yeah, but Daniel's the same complexion as my grandfather. And they look alike, too. Daniel and my grandfather look alike. And our grandfather look alike. But, you know, it's all I'm saying is just that history, you know, a lot of things happen, not a lot of information. A lot of people don't want to talk about certain things.
But
They
also,
scared.
the time that we did try to find out was late because a lot of our, you know, family did pass away, so
Yeah.
we couldn't even get the information.
Right, right. And
By
all
the
of
time
that-
we were grown enough to know, like, ooh, we should get this information.
by the time we was like, no, we're going to sit down, you're going to talk to us.
They were all gone.
They're all full of shit. Sorry, you know. But anyway.
But anyway, let's get to the real
And
thing.
now I guess everyone has found out that Daniel and I are first cousins. His mother and my mother are sisters. And Daniel's mother was the oldest sister, and she used to be she was given permission to beat the younger children, which caused a huge divide in the family. Because my mother loved his mother, but there was always that problem because she used to still pop them when they were kids.
Gotcha.
So when they got up, they were like not very happy about that.
I'm almost letting anybody hit me but her.
But I think we're missing the big subject, the big issue. These young black men, these young men.
We're proud of them. I'm proud. Are you proud of them, Ulrich? What do you think? Do you think they handled themselves well, or?
I don't know. Yeah, I agree with
What
them.
about
They handled themselves better than I would have handled
Right,
myself.
right,
That's what I'm saying.
right.
That's the first time I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
No, even in agreement, just on. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is just it was just all easy. This one. You know?
Yeah, Premium Black News. We're talking about the Karens. We're talking about the Ken in my life, who thinks that he's a fucking renter, gonna tell me I gotta get off the block. Like, nigga, what are you talking about? And we got the Karens
Until
we're talking about.
his lease is up.
Until his lease is up, right? You know what it is? He's paying. You know, I checked the math. He's paying $3,400 a month for rent. So he's like, you know, when I step out of my door, I don't want to see anybody's dispensary, which is great because we're outside your door to the right, 3 doors down. So, like, you know,
But if it was a Starbucks, woo,
it was a Starbucks, but they don't like Starbucks in that
Okay.
neighborhood of Brooklyn. You have to have everything has to be like, you know, rustic. Starbucks is a little too fancy. Everything has to be
Which they end up being more expensive, which is interesting.
right, exactly. Like, you know how much I pay for eggs? I pay $12 for eggs.
Remember Le Paris? Remember that
$12
place
for
where I
eggs.
was?
It's
Le
ridiculous.
Paris, right up the block from where I lived in Brooklyn. There was a nice little like it was like, what was it, Haitian? It was Haitian owned or something like that.
On your block where the liquor
up
store
the block, yeah, on the same block the liquor store. And remember, it was broken one time. BLM protest broke it up.
Right.
Yeah, the freaking coffee was like $6-8.
Yeah, that's how much it costs. My wife spends $6 a day on coffee.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Or maybe $12 a day on coffee. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I do spend money on coffee, but I can.
How about
that's 'cause
you?
I'm
You're a
addicted.
coffee guy, Daniel?
every morning.
All right. Well,
you know,
I don't get
I
up to 10 a.m.
I have a machine upstairs that's beautiful. But then also I go next door and support a coffee shop that's by here, really good fan. But they also make other things. So it
Right.
depends. When I want to be social, but when I want to just relax in the house and do it, I like having a options.
Yeah, Daniel has like, you know, you can open up a coffee shop at his joint. Yeah. Well, Daniel B has worked hard to have all the things he has, and he has way too much, like he said earlier.
Yeah, 85% of it.
85% of it. And we're going to hold you to it.
Serious.
Anything? Let me look at the chat. Can I see the chat on your phone? Wait, here it goes, right here. Maybe somebody might have... yeah, it just wasn't logging in. Teacher is on point. That's from Stephen Latner.
Steve Larry always
gives
him
a real
like
white woman.
credits.
Somebody's laughing because I said she ain't Italian or Irish. She's a real white woman. You know, you got to sometimes tell people that, because Irish people are not white people. They're Caucasians. They were given the right to assimilate. You know, the problem is I read the book and the Irish became
these
white.
Distinctions, it's
you
just
know,
no,
but that's a real thing. When the I don't remember the author. Come on, you're giving me too much credit. It took me 2 months to read the book. I kept getting distracted.
Hey, too much is actually bad if it's a longer book.
It's not bad, or it's bad.
How long was the book? If it was
maybe 400 pages.
Too much isn't bad, because you gotta you know.
Lyndon Johnson named on his school in South Texas, and yet I meet a Hispanic person that actually knows what he said and his goals were. Lyndon Johnson's name is on schools in South Texas, and yet to meet an Hispanic person that actually knows.
Do they think I'm Hispanic?
Well,
I was the only one who mentioned
Lyndon that Daniel
Johnson.
and I are some sort of Hispanic, even though we live in a black life, and that's a fact. A real white woman, teacher, Stephen Lanner. The best way to deal with free speech is to always remember you are free to ignore what other people have to say. Preach, Stephen. That's what's up. We got Junior 401, Big Elvis. What have you done? What have you have done? Elvis, what have you have done? I'm struggling with this ebonics over here. Karen will be Karen's. Elvis needs to install lights in his car like a cash cab. Yeah, like a cash cab. Okay. Well,
It's like an intimate episode.
Like the light that I am using, boom, I have a light here, and it's magnetized. There's a magnet here and a magnet here, and
yeah, but I think she meant like the show Cash Cab.
Oh, Cash Cab. I used to love that show. All those questions were so hard, man.
Yeah.
I used to only get like 2 or 3 a show.
I used to love when I used to see people answer all of them. I'm like, ooh, he's smart.
Yeah. And I used to see I seen the Cash Cab drive by once before.
Word?
I was like, that's a Cash Cab. I mean, it was like 4 cars following it. It was ridiculous. It was like a Cash Cab in the middle and like 4 guys, like camera crews, all just following the cab. I'm like, whoa. You know, it wasn't inconspicuous at all. Anyway, you are appreciated. I don't want to say goodbye, but we have to. Anything else we need to know? Anything else on your mind?
Oh, yes. Those young black men.
Oh, gosh.
I love it.
I think we're on
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that Cash App. You better send them something.
I will.
I'm gonna
definitely.
Yeah. You got to send them. I mean, the way you talking, it can't be nothing less than a 50.
Oh yeah.
I think we did pretty well today.
Wait a minute. We gotta talk really quickly about the train guy. The guy who was choked out on the train, the Michael Jackson guy.
I don't have that.
But
I don't have that bandwidth right now.
No, yeah. Just really quickly. Ulrich knows the guy.
Oh, actually, this is actually perfect. His name is Jordan. This was only mentioned. I didn't even want to talk about this on the episode, but I saw it. It popped up on my feed that the guy's name. It was his face. It was just his face, and they're like Jordan. I was like, wait, I thought I was like bugging out. I thought like my face did a memory that like I knew something. I thought I was just bugging out. Like I saw a face I recognized, and then I looked and read it, and it was this guy. All right, so in high school, I used to hang out.
Hold on 1 second. I think we should leave this for the next episode.
No. We're gonna be quick. Come on.
No,
Hold it.
it'll be great though.
No. This we could always go back to this because the trial is going to happen. We
I
will be
wanna-
talking
I wanna
about
give
this.
a teaser.
Yeah.
I don't think we should give everything away. I don't think we should know everything right now. But okay.
No. Okay. I guess I'll placate both. I'll placate both sides. So I'll just say, Jordan was a person I knew in high school. Now this is something we can talk about in the future. Jordan was a guy who used to always dress up like Michael Jackson. He had this whole image. He used to go down 42nd Street. He used to kind of dance like Michael Jackson, dress like Michael Jackson. We used to play ball after school, and he hung out with like these kind of I guess rougher kids, but
rougher.
He was like not like rougher-ish, but not really. Anyway. After we graduated, I started to see him on the train, and with this blank look on his face, just kind of smelling. He was clearly homeless. So after I graduated from high school, I noticed that something happened to him because I never saw this side of him in high school. So something.
But you do know the guy who was
100% no,
dancing.
1000% no,
Right.
1000%. He went to Washington Irving. They'll probably
Do
say
you know
it in
that I
Australia.
know this guy too?
Really?
Did you know that?
Hey.
Did you know that I've seen this guy since he was in high school? Like you saying high school?
Oh, I bet
and
you
he was
had.
a
He did the
kid
Michael Jackson
who
thing.
wore the
Yeah.
Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah.
But you know what else? I tried to speak to this guy like 10 times.
Yeah.
He's never spoke back to me. He's always ignored me. My children have even tried to speak to him. Hi, how you doing? You
Yeah.
dance like Michael Jackson? He would not speak to my children or looked at them. He was very, very... If you start talking to him, he'll just start like walking backwards, turning around. He would, if he's walking into a store and people will be like, yo, Michael Jackson, what's up? He'll turn around and just go to a different store.
So we started to have. I believe what happened is he got kicked out of his house, and he had to start fending for himself because this was directly after high school.
Right.
Like from literally.
I remember
from seeing
when he
him
was
in
a
high school.
freaking kid.
Yeah,
this
from-
guy
yeah.
was like 17,
It was-
18 with a full Michael Jackson outfit on.
It was literally like high school, and then the next year the next like a few months after high school, when I'd be on the train, he would just be walking up and down.
Did you ever stop to talk to him when you were in school? Did you ever with friends with him?
No, we hung out. I hung out with him. We knew each other. We hung out together.
So when you see him as an adult, did you speak to him?
No, this is what I'm saying. There was a shift in him after we graduated high school. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he graduated.
Happened.
Now, it wasn't that we were buzzing. We weren't buzzing buddies. We knew. He used to call me Brolic. That was a freaking. Anyway, and I didn't even.
You don't want us to know your high school nickname? Did you just try to stop that from happening? What was your high school nickname?
They call me Brolic because I was bigger than them. That was they call me that in high school. I'm not saying that because
not Brolic Ulrich or just Brolic.
I promise, just Brolic.
Hey yo, Brolic.
And even I had a rapper called Brolic Season.
I have a lot of questions about this guy.
Okay.
But I'm gonna save it for next week.
All right.
Okay.
Because I really want us to delve into it because this is a serious matter. This is nothing that I get. Like it's this man is passed.
You believe that?
No, he did die.
How you know?
Oh, I mean, come on. Now we're doing the red rabbit hole again.
Right.
Okay. I think we should definitely have a bigger discussion about this man and probably give people the human aspect of him.
I saw my son.
All
I
I
saw
could do
my
is give the
son
gist of-
protesting and yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
And once I saw my son protesting, yelling and screaming, I said, maybe this ain't real.
Yeah. But the only gist I can give, that whole thing I just gave is the gist I give. We hung out there in high school. He played ball a little bit. He didn't really play ball that much. He's the kind of guy he would hang out on the basketball court and be fucking around on the side, like while people were playing basketball.
What would he do?
No, he was just hanging out. Like a bunch of people would come to the basketball court and didn't play basketball.
Right.
They would just hang out. It was
me.
like a spot.
Yeah, I didn't play basketball. I just hung out. Yeah.
But I
Did
never
you ever
remember
see him
having
dance?
Yeah. He was even on like this. There wasn't a dance team, but there was like these group of kids who I don't know, like
Yeah, I've seen him dance on that. I've seen him dance. He was part of a group of guys that they would just each one take turns and go up and dance.
But I don't know. But none of I saw him. You're talking about his 42nd Street work. So I don't know how he reached those. When I saw him on 42nd, I don't know when he reached that new group of kids. But he'd hang out with some of the like
I think this is something we should delve more into.
Yeah.
You know?
but there's not but I only said that to say there's not much more we can attach the topic, but that's the extent of me knowing.
Yeah,
no,
well,
I mean,
we're gonna definitely talk about them because there's gonna be a trial. So far there's been over $1 million raised for the defense of the gentleman who put him in the chokehold. They, you know, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, just about the Marine, the ex-Marine.
Yeah, the ex-Marine.
Yeah.
The ex-Marine. Yeah.
Okay. No, because I want to bring up some stuff about it, but you know, I want to.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it next week, but it's going to come back up.
Yeah, I'm from.
No. I know I've seen him since he was a teenager, and he refused to say hi to me. That's one of the thing I know. And I remember when he went through that whole Jerry Curl stage.
Yeah,
Ooh, that was bad. I was like, this kid is no way getting any girls with that Jerry Curl.
I don't remember.
I remember that Jerry Curl. Was
I don't remember
crazy.
him talking to any. I don't remember him talking to any women or anything.
I think we
like
should
that.
take
I don't think
this
that was
and
his-
get more
right.
into it because I got a lot of questions.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna learn some more about Jordan.
Yeah.
Once I saw my son, I was like, "What's this? It's got to be a scion." Yeah. Anytime you see my son,
Great.
it's time to know that his cash app is rigged. You know, my son lives in a hotel.
I support
He
my
lives,
son.
he lives permanently in a hotel.
That's a
And,
beautiful thing.
yeah, I lived in a hotel for 1.5 years, and let me tell you, I know those protesters be living a certain way, waiting for the next protest to happen. You know, so
I don't know about that.
I know the
Oh,
game.
I'll be. Oh, professional protesters. I believe.
Professional protesters.
Protesters. That's a thing. Come on. That's a thing.
That's a whole thing.
That's a thing.
That's a real thing.
I'm Daniel B.
I'm Big Elvis the Chef Rosenberg,
I'm on work.
and we're out. Oh, we love you. At least I do.